Warning, if you don't want to know this, stop watching this now. Wizards of the Coast, in their infinite wisdom, have made available the list of all the 12 classes and all the 48 subclasses available to you in 2024 Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook, coming out sometime after Origins. But remember, none of these are new. These are all just backwards compatible updates, which means you don't really need this book, especially since some of these that you mentioned aren't even that old. And so unless you've drastically changed them, oh, wait, you literally say that not only have all the pre-existing classes and rules been revised, but you have a whole bunch of new rules. So they're not the same. Anyways, here's the list of all 48 subclasses. It's kind of hard to read, but we'll do our best. All right, first with Barbarian. Now, remember, you get these all, I believe, at first level now. Before it was third level, you had to earn them, but now they're just handed to you. And I assume there's also going to be rules where you can change them and intermix them, because just being one thing isn't fair. In my humble opinion, Barbarian's not a class, but okay, whatever. We'll legit. If you choose to play a Barbarian in 2024 D&D, your choices are Berserker, Wildheart, World Tree, and Zealot. Zealot's a cleric, not a barbarian. World Tree sounds like a druid thing. Wildheart also sounds like the druid thing. The only thing that really sounds barbarian on here is Berserker, which again is not a class. Which leaves, of course, the question, did you bring back Rage Swim? The single greatest feat ever. Rage Swim. Of all the feats I've seen since they started introducing feats, Rage Swim is my favorite. Not only do I swim angrily. I don't know what Rage Swim is, but it's just the best. All right, moving on to Bard. Again, having played Bards in every edition, the only time they ever got Bards right was with the very first and Pathfinder. You can choose the School of Dance. Gotta dance. The School of Glamour. Hi there. The School of Lore, which is the only one you should take. And the School of Valor. That's right. So if you want to be a bard like Scanlan, I guess you choose Glamour. Hi there. And if you want to be a bard as the way they're intended to be, choose Lore. Moving on to the single most broken class in the game, Cleric. We have Life Domain Cleric, because God forbid we ever take clerics away from what they should be, which is heal bots. The Light Domain, which was unbelievably broken before, I assume it's even more broken. I played in a game with a Light Domain Cleric, and they were like, I don't know if my character's not that powerful. Maybe I should re-choose it. And then I went through Light Domain with her and showed her, oh, by the way, you can cast Fireball. And then she was like, you know what? I think I love this. Trickery, which was stupid. Hopefully they've changed it. And War. Because if you're going to play a cleric, you either do life or you do war. The other two, unless you want to shoot lasers. If you want to do better DPS than a wizard and a warlock, choose light. Druid. You can be a druid of the land, a druid of the moon, a druid of the sea, or a druid of the stars. Like anybody's going to choose anything other than bear tank. Fighter, Battle Master, Champion, Eldritch Knight, and Psy Warriors. How is Eldritch Knight and Psy Warrior different? Well, Eldritch Knight uses magic user spells, and Psy Warrior uses psionic spells. Aren't those the same thing? I mean, they're from the same list, right? Well, they're completely different. Oh, okay. For Monk, we have the School of Mercy, where you can choose to hit people but not do any damage to them. We have Shadow, if you want to be a ninja, because ninja should be a rogue class. We have Elementals, once again, trying to make monks resemble the way the martial artists appear in anime. Oh, but of course, they still don't get it right. Maybe they finally got it right, And Way of the Hand, the open hand, which is classic monk. So if you want to be a classic martial artist monk, you just go with open hand, where you're making hundreds of attacks around, whatever. Monk has always been just the sort of the class that never makes sense. Moving on, we've got Paladin. I'm surprised they kept Paladins in, considering how much they hate the idea of lawful good in D&D. I assume these are the new Paladins that can be any alignment and don't have to dedicate themselves to a god. They can dedicate themselves to a cause. I'm a Paladin of an ideal, and that ideal grants me my powers. No, that's not how it works. You saw a burning bush. God chose you to be his representative on Earth, and you're probably going to burn out much like Joan of Arc. Paladin, Joan of Arc. You can choose the devotion, the glory, the ancients, where you have the ability to preserve joy. What does a paladin have to do with preserving joy? And vengeance, where you hunt down evil doers. Sorry, paladin, not vengeance. You're a fucking superhero. You're Captain Frickin' America. Ranger, which continues to get nerfed. You can get Beastmaster, where you get to bond with a primal beast. Remember, old Rangers got that for free. Where you can be Fey Wanderer, where you can be mirthful and funny and furry, because now we have furry Rangers. You can be a Gloom Stalker, where you hunt undead. No, that's clerics who hunt undead. Or the Hunter. What is the difference between a stalker and a hunter? Don't know. I guess one hunts things at night and one hunts things during the day. Doesn't really matter because we know everybody's going to try and do the sword wielding Drizzt Ranger, because Bow Ranger doesn't work anymore and Beastmaster doesn't work anymore compared to what it used to. I just want a bear. Finally, Rogue, Arcane Trickster, still sticking around. Assassin, which unless they've changed, totally pointless class. The Soul Knife, which is not as broken as people think it is. I played in a game with a Soul Knight player, and he thought it was unbelievably broken until he actually played it for a few levels and realized that, no, it's not that broken. And Thief, which is them trying to make rogues like they were in the old game, except the Thief class also used to you don't make any sense. You're not a thief. You're just sort of a mess. I mean, every rogue I ever played with in every game, with the exception of one, was either an arcane trickster, an assassin. I think I played in one game where somebody played a thief and regretted it. Finally, we have sorcerer, which used to be a decent class, but now it's pointless. You can choose the aberrant sorcery, where you use strange psionic magic and you slowly get corrupted into a Lovecraftian nightmare, as it should be. You can choose clockwork, where you draw powers from the clocks. You can choose the classic dragon, which kind of really should be the only bloodline for sorcerers, or wild magic, the original wild magic, where you got one cool ability that only happened on a natural one. And I always thought it should grow exponentially. As you level up, the chance of triggering a surge should be greater, right? Not lesser. Or it should start really high, and then as you level up, it gets lower and lower as you control it more and more, which actually would make the most sense for a wild blood sorcerer when you think about it, right? Because the whole thing is you're just tapping into this chaotic magic and you don't know how it works. You're just like, and shit happens. So really, it should be that at first level, the chance of things going ridiculous should be really, really high. And as you level up, you gain more and more control. So the number gets lower, lower, and lower. Or you have a better chance to just trigger it when you do want it to happen, instead of it just always just being on a natural one. Yeah, that would work. If I ever did a class like that, I'd probably do it that way. I don't know if people would want to play it, but I think that's the best way it works. And finally, we have the Warlock, where you get Archfey, Celestial, Fiend, and Great Old One. Archfey's big thing was teleporting. I don't know if they've kept it that way. Celestial Patron. I played a Celestial Patron Warlock. A Healer Warlock doesn't really work. Fiend Patron. I can't believe they allowed that to stay in because, Devil Worshipper. And Great Old Ones, where you delve into. So why would they keep the two that are the most problematic if they want to avoid the most problematic? And Wizard gets Abjurer, which is useless. Divination, which was useless. Evoker, and Illusionist, which is, has always been a useless build. Illusionists, people always thought it'd be powerful until you realize that you're half the things you meet, your illusions don't affect. I cast illusion. It's undead. It doesn't care. I cast illusion. It's a construct. It doesn't care. I cast illusion. It's a slime. It doesn't care. I cast illusion. It's a demon. It doesn't care. I cast illusion. You know what? Fuck it. My illusions don't work on anything except for people. And they get saving throws. Notice there's a whole bunch of missing, like transmutation and conjuration. But don't worry, guys, because all those subclasses that are missing, we'll see later on. Now, we do notice that a class that was promised is gone. The Artifactor. We were told Artifactor was going to be back. Well, it's gone. But don't worry. I'm sure it'll be in the first Splat book. So there you go. I have spoiled each and every one of the subclasses. A lot of them seem to be different words for the same thing. What's the difference between a berserker and a zealot? What's the difference between a lore bard and, well, actually, bard is the only one that makes sense. Play bard, play lore bard, or play bard, play glamour bard. Cleric, come on, everybody's going to pick life or war, maybe light, but you know, most of them are going to either be I want to hit things or I want to heal things. Druid, bear druid. Why would nobody's going to play anything else other than bear druid or shape changing druid? Fighter, I don't need a. What's the difference between magic knight and psi knight? You know, monks. I either want to be unless you do elemental right, nobody's going to play it. Everybody's either going to be I want to be a ninja or I just want to punch things. I mean, a lot of these are just the same thing with different names, right? And wizards look like they get kind of screwed because they're missing a whole bunch of their other ones. But you get these at first level now. You get these at first level now. Before you had to actually earn them. But I guess people felt that certain classes getting their specials at first and certain classes getting their specials at third was unfair. So now you get them all at first. So there you go. I've spoiled the list. But the spoiling doesn't stop there. Oh, no, we have more spoiling. Warning, spoilers. If you don't want to see this, stop watching this now. We have the brand new 2024 map of the place that is in name Greyhawk. Except if you spend a few seconds actually going over the map and comparing it to an older map of Greyhawk, you will notice, one, they kind of don't look the same. And more importantly, a bunch of names have been changed. Now, considering how hard some of those names are pronounced, okay, but a bunch of the names have been changed, which begs the question, if you change the names of places and locations and individuals and species and cultures, is it still Greyhawk? Or is it just a completely different place? I mean, I could find any map anywhere using this logic and say, yep, this is the map of Greyhawk because I say it is. Sure, it doesn't have any of the names that Gary came up with, but remember, we want to scrub any connection Gary has with Dungeons and Dragons. So while we're calling this Greyhawk, you will notice that several place names and several culture names and several important locations and the roadside attractions and landmarks have been changed. Some of them because they're just easier to say. Some of them because we don't want to be associated with the imagery that name might trigger one person. And most importantly, because Wizards continues to want to scrub any connection between their D&D and Gygax D&D. So if you're looking forward to a 2024 take on the classic Greyhawk, well, I mean, they're still calling it Greyhawk, and it's Wizards and Hasbro. They could call anything they want Greyhawk, but is it still Greyhawk if you change all the names? I don't know. That's up to you. But the spoiling doesn't stop there. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. We have one more. We have one more. They also spoiled some players' handbook art for us. Guess where did I find it? Hold on. I thought I had this ready, but I guess I'm an idiot. I don't. Here we go. There it is. Alrighty. Spoilers. Here is some of the new art that is appearing in the brand new Player's Handbook. If you don't want to see this, stop watching this now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There you go. What race is that? I'm sorry. What species is that? I'm sorry. What ancestry is that? I'm not going to tell you. You just tell me what you think it is. Those are orcs. They are definitely not humans in really bad Star Trek first generation costumes. No, those are distinctly unique orcs. Their own new, distinct, no longer evil player character half-orc orcs. This is what orcs now look like in 2024 D&D. Yes, those are orcs. I know they do not resemble in any way, shape, or form any incarnation of orcs we have seen anywhere, going back to mythology, Tolkien, comic books, anime, video games, movies, TV, every role-playing game ever that used them. Here we have rocks, and he is Ironcaster. It's so Star Trek that they even stole the rock. Is that Vasquez? Vasquez rocks. It could be somebody's interpretation of Vasquez rocks. I mean, you know, Vasquez rocks have appeared in everything. Why not? So yeah, here we go. These is the first one I've seen. These are the new orcs because remember, we want them to be a new, unique, distinct race that is no longer evil, that is, you know, not culturally insulting, that is, you know, non-discriminatory. And what is the best way to make a new, unique, distinct, original take on a classic fantasy race so people look at it and go, hey, that's no longer racist or offensive? The best way to do that is to make it just somebody wearing, you know, cheap Halloween. Yeah, because I'm not insulted. If I was somebody, I'd be totally insulted by this. Why is one carrying a traffic sign? Oh, that weird looking X. I don't know. Here we have Orc, the Hispanic cowboy. That's not racist. Here we have Orc with a traffic sign. Again, yep, totally. Here we have another explorer Orc, Don Quixote, because apparently orcs are now Spanish colonizationers. Here we have Orc, the opera singer. Again, that's not racist or discriminatory. Here we've got Orc, the cute kid with a kender stick. Here we've got another Orc with a bird. These are half orcs and orcs. Yes, yes. Yes. And these should not offend anybody because they're just white people wearing a costume. And nothing says inclusiveness and lack of discrimination than a white person in a costume based upon a culture that already exists, i.e., the more I look at this, this looks like the art. I live in Ventura. I live within walking distance of the Ventura Mission. I have seen the artwork up and around the Ventura Mission dating all the way back to when the colonial colonizers and the mission was first made. This looks exactly like the art on display at the mission. These are Hispanic, Spanish workers, the cowboys, the caballeros. This is art I would see at the courthouse. This is not orcs. This is Southern California Spanish missionaries. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. Now, I understand, Wizards of the Coast, your goal is to completely scrub any connection to any previous incarnation so that nobody confuses this and it's 100% yours. So going forward, when you make the video games and you make anything else, that is the Wizards of the Coast orc. That's why you're changing the names. That's why you're changing the appearance. That's why you're changing all the things that you were scrubbing. You don't want to be associated with the inappropriateness, the misogyny, the racism of Gygax and D&D before today. I get that. I get that. It's stupid, but I get what you're trying to do. But this does not convey to me the idea that we are no longer racist. We are no longer sexist. We are no longer misogynistic. We are now an inclusive, diversified game that accepts everybody, because you're literally portraying a stereotype of an actual culture that existed. Something you said you wouldn't do. Anyways, that's all the spoilers that were available today, but I will remind you that as of an hour ago, the doors to Origins 2024 officially opened, and Origins is running now through Sunday. So I will expect we will have a lot more stuff over the day, and especially tomorrow and Saturday, in regards to new games, changes to games. I'm sure Wizards is there with their brand new rollout. I'm sure all the other major players are at Origins right now. Especially a lot of the industry people are at Origins right now. So I will expect as the day progresses, we will have more spoilers. We will have more Crawford. We will have more D&D stuff. We will have more stuff from other games. So I look forward to this being a very exciting weekend. I will also remind you that it is the solstice. It is the longest day of the year. So why are you sitting here talking to me when you could be outside enjoying this gorgeous first day of summer? Thank you all for putting up with my rant for the past 20 minutes. I was thinking of doing that 44 questions thing, but everybody and their dog has done the 44 questions thing, so I don't see any reason to do it. Till next time, I'm the OG GM. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to you later. Get off my land.
Yo, check. Yeah, we're not the type to play games. You can stay claims. Came to show them.